Have you ever felt like life is throwing one challenge after another your way, and no matter how hard you try, it's hard to keep up? Maybe you've faced moments when you felt stuck, defeated, or just not strong enough to keep going. You've wondered how some people seem to handle adversity with ease, while it feels like everything is harder for you. But here's the truth: mental strength isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, step by step, day by day. And the good news is that you have the power to develop it. This book is not just about getting through tough times. It's about becoming stronger because of them. It's about developing the mindset, habits, and strategies that will help you face life's toughest moments with confidence and resilience. It's about learning how to train your mind to handle pressure, to push through fear, to grow from setbacks, and to keep moving forward, no matter what. Throughout this journey, I'll guide you through the tools and techniques that have helped countless people build mental strength. You'll learn practical strategies to strengthen your willpower, overcome self-doubt, face fear head-on, and keep going even when the road gets tough. This is not about quick fixes or empty motivation. It's about real, actionable advice that you can apply every single day to make a lasting difference in your life. But it won't be easy. Building mental strength is a challenge in itself, but the rewards are worth it. Imagine waking up each day with the belief that you can handle whatever comes your way. Picture yourself facing challenges with clarity, confidence, and resilience. That's what mental strength can do for you. So whether you're dealing with stress, setbacks, self-doubt, or just the pressures of everyday life, know that there is a way forward. This book will show you how to train your mind to overcome anything, to bounce back from adversity, and to develop a deep, unwavering confidence in your own abilities. Are you ready to start? Are you ready to train your mind and become mentally strong? Let's dive in and take that first step toward a stronger, more resilient you. Chapter 1. The Foundation of Mental Strength. Have you ever felt like life keeps throwing curveballs your way, testing your limits, and leaving you wondering if you have what it takes to keep going? That's the moment when mental strength becomes your greatest ally. It's not about being fearless or never feeling down. It's about learning to rise every time you fall, about finding your footing when the ground beneath you feels shaky, and about staying true to yourself even when the world feels overwhelming. Mental strength isn't something you're born with. It's not a gift reserved for a select few who seem to have it all figured out. It's a skill, a set of habits, thoughts, and actions that you can build and strengthen over time. And the fact that you're here, reading this, tells me you're ready to take that step. You're ready to stop letting life happen to you and start taking control. That decision alone is powerful. So what is mental strength? It's the ability to keep moving forward, even when the path ahead isn't clear. It's about handling stress without letting it consume you, facing challenges without losing your sense of purpose, and staying grounded, no matter how chaotic things get. It's not about pretending to be okay when you're not. It's about acknowledging the struggle and choosing to grow through it. I know life can feel like a constant test. Maybe you faced rejection that shook your confidence, setbacks that made you question your abilities, or losses that left you feeling broken. Whatever your story is, I want you to know this: you're not alone. Every single person you admire, every success story you've heard, started with someone who faced struggles just like you. The difference is, they made a choice. They chose to build their strength, one step at a time. And you can too. Building mental strength is a journey. It's not a quick fix or something you achieve overnight. It's a daily commitment to yourself, to your growth, your resilience, and your happiness. And the beautiful thing about this journey is that every small step you take brings you closer to becoming the person you want to be. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to start. One of the most important lessons I've learned about mental strength is that it starts with self-awareness. You can't change what you don't understand. Take a moment to reflect on where you are right now. What challenges are you facing? What thoughts hold you back? What habits are keeping you stuck? Be honest with yourself, not critical. This isn't about judgment. It's about clarity. When you understand your starting point, you can begin to map out the path forward. Another key part of building mental strength is learning to face discomfort. Let's be real, growth doesn't happen when everything is easy. It happens when you step outside your comfort zone and challenge yourself. It happens when you face fears, take risks, and do the hard things that push you to grow. I'm not saying it'll be easy, but I promise it will be worth it. Every time you step up and face something that scares you, you're proving to yourself that you're stronger than you think. And that's how mental strength is built. One courageous choice at a time. Now let's talk about the power of mindset. Your thoughts shape your reality more than you might realize. If you believe you can't handle something, you'll feel defeated before you even try. But when you choose to believe in your ability to grow and overcome, you open the door to possibilities. This doesn't mean you have to be positive all the time. That's not realistic. What it means is choosing to focus on what you can control, on the lessons you can learn, and on the progress you can make. Your mindset is like a muscle. The more you train it to focus on growth, the stronger it becomes. Self-discipline is another cornerstone of mental strength. It's not always glamorous, but it's essential. Self-discipline is what helps you stay consistent, even when motivation fades. It's what keeps you moving toward your goals, even when the excitement wears off. And here's the truth, you don't need to rely on willpower alone. Start small. Commit to one habit that aligns with the person you want to become. Maybe it's waking up 10 minutes earlier to plan your day, or taking a walk every evening to clear your mind. Whatever it is, start where you are. Small, consistent actions lead to big changes over time. I also want to touch on the importance of self-compassion. Being mentally strong doesn't mean being hard on yourself. In fact, the opposite is true. When you treat yourself with kindness and understanding, you create a foundation for growth. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have days when you feel like you're falling short. And that's okay. What matters is how you respond to those moments. Instead of beating yourself up, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I do better next time? Growth isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up again and again. As you continue this journey, remember that mental strength isn't about doing it all alone. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who believe in you, and who remind you of your worth when you forget. Build a support system that encourages your growth and challenges you to be your best. And don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. There's strength in knowing when to lean on others. Finally, I want you to know that this journey is yours. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to building mental strength. What works for someone else might not work for you, and that's okay. Trust yourself to find your own way. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small it might seem. Every step you take is a step closer to the person you're meant to become. And when you look back, you'll see that the challenges you faced weren't just obstacles. They were opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. So here's my challenge to you. Start today. Take one small step toward building your mental strength. Maybe it's setting a boundary, facing a fear, or simply acknowledging where you are right now. Whatever it is, take that step. You have everything you need within you to succeed. And I'm here to remind you of that every step of the way. Chapter 2. Understanding Self-Discipline. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to achieve the impossible while others struggle to stay on track? It's not about talent or luck. The real secret lies in self-discipline, that quiet force that pushes you to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. If you're ready to unlock your potential and take control of your life, this is where it starts. Self-discipline isn't glamorous, but it's a game changer. It's what separates the dreamers from the doers, the people who wish for a better life, and the ones who create it. But let me be clear, it's not about perfection or being rigid. Self-discipline is about consistency, showing up for yourself every day, even in small ways. It's about committing to your goals and staying the course, no matter how tempting it might be to quit. Let's get real for a moment. Discipline is hard. There will be days when your motivation runs dry, when distractions pull you in every direction, and when giving up feels easier than pushing forward. But here's the thing, motivation is fleeting, but discipline is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And like any muscle, it grows through practice and persistence. Think about a time in your life when you stuck to something difficult and saw results. Maybe it was studying for an exam, training for a race, or saving for a big goal. Remember how good it felt to achieve what you set out to do. That's the power of self-discipline. It gives you a sense of pride and control, a reminder that you are capable of so much more than you think. The first step in building self-discipline is knowing your why. Why does this goal matter to you? What will it bring to your life? When you connect deeply with your purpose, it becomes easier to stay focused. Maybe you want to create a better future for your family, improve your health, or finally pursue a dream that's been on your heart for years. Whatever it is, keep that why front and center. Write it down. Remind yourself of it every day. When the going gets tough, your why will be your anchor. Next, break your goal into small, manageable steps. Too often, we get overwhelmed by the big picture and end up doing nothing at all. But progress isn't about giant leaps. It's about tiny, consistent actions. If you want to write a book, start with 1 page a day. If you want to get fit, commit to a 15-minute walk. Small wins build momentum, and momentum fuels discipline. Celebrate those wins, no matter how small they might seem. Each one is proof that you're moving in the right direction. Let's talk about routines, because they're the backbone of self-discipline. When you create a routine, you take the guesswork out of your day. You don't have to waste energy deciding what to do next, because it's already planned. Start simple. Set a consistent wake-up time, dedicate specific hours to your priorities, and stick to a bedtime that allows for enough rest. Your routine doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to work for you. Over time, it will become second nature, and you'll find it easier to stay disciplined. Discipline also means learning to say no to distractions. This is where it gets tricky, because distractions are everywhere. Social media, Netflix, endless to-do lists, they all compete for your attention. But here's the truth, every time you say yes to something that doesn't serve your goals, you're saying no to something that does. It's not about cutting out fun or relaxation, it's about being intentional with your time. Ask yourself, is this helping me get closer to where I want to be? If the answer is no, it's okay to let it go. One of the most powerful tools for building self-discipline is accountability. When you share your goals with someone you trust, you're more likely to follow through. Find a friend, mentor, or coach who will support you and hold you accountable. Better yet, find someone who's on a similar journey so you can encourage each other. Knowing that someone else is rooting for you can make all the difference. Now, let's address setbacks, because they're inevitable. You will stumble. You will have days when you fall short. And that's okay. What matters is how you respond. Instead of beating yourself up, Use setbacks as an opportunity to learn and grow. Ask yourself, what triggered this? What can I do differently next time? Then get back on track. Remember, discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being persistent. Self-discipline also requires self-compassion. It's easy to be hard on yourself, especially when things don't go as planned. But treating yourself with kindness and understanding is essential for long-term success. When you're compassionate with yourself, you create a space where growth can happen. Instead of giving up, you find the strength to keep going. I want to remind you that self-discipline is a gift you give to yourself. It's not a punishment or a chore, it's an act of self-love. Every time you choose discipline, you're choosing your future, your dreams, and your best self. You're proving to yourself that you are worth the effort, that your goals matter, and that you have what it takes to achieve them. So start today, choose one small action that aligns with your goals, and commit to it. Show up for yourself, even when it's hard. Trust the process, and remember that every step forward is a victory. You are capable of more than you know, and self-discipline is the key to unlocking that potential. This is your journey, and it's worth every ounce of effort. Let's make it happen. Chapter 3. Embracing fear and anxiety. Fear and anxiety can feel like walls closing in on you, stealing your breath, and robbing you of the confidence to move forward. But what if I told you that fear isn't your enemy? What if anxiety isn't something to run from, but something to face head-on? These feelings, as overwhelming as they might seem, are natural. They're signs that you're stepping out of your comfort zone and onto a path of growth. Let's be honest. Fear is powerful. It has the ability to paralyze us, to make us second-guess our choices, and to keep us stuck in places we've outgrown. But fear also has another side. It's a signal. It's a sign that something important is at stake, that you care deeply about what's ahead. Fear doesn't show up when you're comfortable and complacent. It shows up when you're about to do something that matters. The first step to embracing fear is recognizing it for what it is, a natural response. It's your brain's way of trying to protect you from harm. But here's the catch. Your brain doesn't always distinguish between real danger and perceived danger. Speaking up in a meeting, starting a new project, or pursuing a dream might feel just as threatening as standing on the edge of a cliff. The good news is, you can train your mind to see fear differently. Instead of viewing it as a stop sign, you can see it as a green light, a signal to move forward. When fear and anxiety show up, take a moment to pause and breathe. Seriously, just stop and focus on your breath. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold it for a few seconds, and exhale slowly. Repeat this a few times. This simple act calms your nervous system and helps you regain control. You're reminding your body that you're safe, even if your mind is racing. Now, let's talk about the power of action. Fear thrives in inaction. The longer you sit with it, the bigger and scarier it feels. But when you take even the smallest step forward, you begin to chip away at its power. Let's say you're terrified of public speaking. Start small. Speak up in a group of friends, then try sharing your thoughts in a meeting. Each step builds confidence, and before you know it, you're standing in front of a room, owning your voice. One of the most transformative things you can do is reframe your relationship with fear. Instead of seeing it as something to avoid, see it as an opportunity to grow. Ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? Often the answer isn't as catastrophic as you'd think. And even if things don't go perfectly, you'll learn. You'll grow. You'll become stronger for having faced it. Real-life examples of people who've overcome fear and anxiety are everywhere. Think about someone like J.K. Rowling, who faced countless rejections before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. Or Michael Jordan, who was cut from his high school basketball team but didn't let that stop him. These stories remind us that fear and failure are part of the journey. They're stepping stones, not roadblocks. Anxiety often comes hand in hand with fear. It's that nagging voice in your head that says, "What if? What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if everything falls apart?" But here's the truth. Most of those what-ifs never come true. Anxiety feeds on uncertainty, but you don't have to let it control you. When those thoughts creep in, challenge them. Ask yourself, is this true? Do I have evidence to support this? Often you'll find that your fears are based on assumptions, not facts. Journaling can be a powerful tool for working through fear and anxiety. Write down your fears, no matter how irrational they might seem. Then, break them down. What's the worst-case scenario? What's the best-case scenario? What's the most likely outcome? This process helps you see things more clearly and puts your fears into perspective. It's like shining a flashlight into a dark corner. Suddenly, it's not so scary anymore. Another way to face fear is by leaning into mindfulness. When you're anxious, your mind tends to spiral into the future, imagining every possible worst-case scenario. Mindfulness brings you back to the present moment. It's about noticing what's happening right now without judgment. You can practice mindfulness through meditation, yoga, or simply by paying attention to your surroundings. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Listen to the sounds around you and focus on your breath. The present moment is often much less overwhelming than our thoughts about the future. Support is crucial when dealing with fear and anxiety. You don't have to go through it alone. Talk to someone you trust, a friend, a family member, or a therapist. Sharing your fears out loud often makes them feel less daunting. And sometimes, just knowing that someone else understands can make all the difference. Facing fear isn't about eliminating it. It's about learning to move forward despite it. Every time you face a fear, you're proving to yourself that you're stronger than you think. You're building resilience, one step at a time. And with each step, fear loses its grip on you. Imagine what your life could look like if fear didn't hold you back. Picture yourself pursuing that dream, speaking your truth, or taking that leap you've been avoiding. It's possible. It's within your reach. Fear might always be a part of the journey, but it doesn't have to be the driver. You're in control. You have the power to face fear, to embrace it, and to move forward anyway. This is your journey, and it's worth every step. Chapter 4. Building positive habits. Imagine if every single day you had a routine that made you stronger, more focused, and more in control of your life. Habits have the power to do just that. They shape your days, your decisions, and ultimately your destiny. Think about it. The small things you do every day are the building blocks of who you become. It's not the grand gestures or once-in-a-while efforts that define you. It's the consistent actions you take day in and day out. Habits are powerful because they operate almost on autopilot. Once they're ingrained, they don't require as much thought or effort. But here's the catch. Habits can either work for you or against you. Positive habits, like exercising, eating well, and setting aside time to learn or reflect, propel you forward. Negative habits, like procrastinating, overeating, or scrolling endlessly on your phone, can hold you back. The good news is, you have the power to shape your habits. You can intentionally design your life by choosing which habits to build and which to break. Building positive habits starts with clarity. You need to know what you want and why it matters. Without a clear vision, it's easy to get sidetracked or give up when things get tough. So take a moment to think about what's important to you. Is it improving your health, growing in your career, strengthening your relationships? Whatever it is, get crystal clear on your why. When your why is strong, it becomes your anchor, keeping you grounded and focused, even when motivation wanes. The next step is to start small. A lot of people make the mistake of trying to overhaul their entire life overnight. They decide they're going to work out every day, eat only salads, read a book a week, and wake up at 5 a.m. While these are admirable goals, trying to tackle them all at once is overwhelming and unsustainable. Instead, focus on one small habit at a time. For example, if you want to start exercising, commit to just 5 minutes a day. It might not sound like much, but those 5 minutes can snowball into something bigger over time. The key is to build momentum. Consistency is the magic ingredient when it comes to habits. Doing something small every day is far more effective than doing something big once in a while. Think of it like planting a seed. You don't see results immediately, but with time and care, that seed grows into something remarkable. The same is true for habits. Each day that you show up and stick with it, you're reinforcing the behavior and making it a natural part of your life. One of the best ways to ensure consistency is to anchor your new habit to something you already do. This is known as habit stacking, and it's a game changer. For example, if you want to start meditating, you could do it right after brushing your teeth in the morning. If you want to drink more water, you could have a glass before every meal. By tying your new habit to an existing one, you're creating a trigger that reminds you to take action. Let's talk about the role of environment. Your surroundings have a huge impact on your habits, whether you realize it or not. If your environment makes it easy to stick to a positive habit, you're more likely to follow through. On the flip side, if it's filled with distractions or temptations, sticking to your goals becomes much harder. Take a look around and ask yourself, is my environment helping or hindering me? If you want to eat healthier, stock your kitchen with nutritious options and keep junk food out of sight. If you want to spend less time on your phone, keep it in another room while you work or set app limits. Small changes to your environment can make a big difference. Another important aspect of building habits is tracking your progress. There's something incredibly satisfying about seeing your streak of success grow. It gives you a sense of accomplishment and motivates you to keep going. You don't need anything fancy. A simple calendar, journal, or app can do the trick. Each time you complete your habit, mark it down. Over time, those marks become a visual reminder of your dedication and growth. It's also important to celebrate your wins, no matter how small they might seem. When you acknowledge your progress, you're reinforcing the positive behavior and building a sense of pride and confidence. Maybe you went for a walk instead of skipping exercise, or you drank an extra glass of water. Whatever it is, take a moment to appreciate the effort you put in. Positive reinforcement goes a long way in keeping you motivated. Of course, building habits isn't always smooth sailing. There will be days when you slip up or feel like giving up. That's normal. What matters is how you respond. Instead of beating yourself up, remind yourself that progress is more important than perfection. One missed day doesn't erase all the effort you've put in. Get back on track as soon as you can, and remember why you started in the first place. Breaking negative habits follows a similar process, but it often requires a bit more effort. The first step is to identify the triggers that lead to the habit. Maybe you reach for a snack when you're bored, or you scroll on your phone when you're stressed. Once you've identified the trigger, find a healthier alternative to replace the habit. For example, if boredom leads you to snack, you could go for a walk or call a friend instead. The goal is to disrupt the pattern and create a new one. Accountability can also play a big role in habit building. When you share your goals with someone you trust, you're more likely to follow through. It could be a friend, family member, or even an online community. Having someone to check in with can keep you motivated and on track. Plus, it's always nice to have someone cheering you on. Remember, habits are a long-term game. They take time and effort to build, but the rewards are worth it. Each positive habit you create is an investment in your future self. It's a step toward becoming the person you want to be. So start small, stay consistent, and don't give up. The journey might not always be easy, but it will always be worth it. You have the power to shape your life, one habit at a time. Chapter 5. The Power of Mindfulness. There's something truly transformative about being fully present in the moment. In a world that constantly pulls us in 100 different directions, mindfulness is like a breath of fresh air. It's a way to ground yourself, to find clarity and calm even when life feels overwhelming. But let me tell you this, mindfulness isn't just about sitting cross-legged and meditating for hours. It's about learning to pay attention, to really see, hear, and feel what's happening around and within you. When you can master that, even in small ways, your entire perspective begins to shift. Think about how much time we spend worrying about the future or replaying the past. We get stuck in loops of what if, or if only, and we miss what's right in front of us. Mindfulness is about breaking free from that. It's about bringing your focus back to the here and now, because this moment right now is the only one you truly have. Imagine how much more meaningful life could be if you weren't constantly distracted by things you can't control. That's the gift mindfulness offers. The beauty of mindfulness is that it doesn't require you to change your entire lifestyle. You can start small and build from there. One of the simplest ways to practice mindfulness is through your breath. Your breath is always with you, a constant rhythm that you can return to whenever you need to center yourself. Take a moment right now and focus on your breathing. Inhale deeply, hold it for a second, and then exhale slowly. Feel the air as it enters and leaves your body. That's mindfulness, paying attention to something as simple and natural as your breath. Another powerful way to practice mindfulness is to tune into your senses. What can you see, hear, smell, taste, and feel at this moment? Maybe you notice the sound of birds outside, the warmth of a cup of coffee in your hands, or the texture of the chair you're sitting on. When you bring your attention to your senses, you're anchoring yourself in the present. It's a simple practice, but it's incredibly grounding. Mindfulness isn't just about feeling calm, it's also about building awareness. When you're mindful, you become more aware of your thoughts, emotions, and reactions. Instead of being swept away by stress or anger, you can pause and observe what's happening inside you. For example, if someone says something upsetting, your initial reaction might be to snap back. But with mindfulness, you can take a breath and notice the emotion rising within you. You can choose to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. That's the power of mindfulness. It gives you space to respond instead of react. One of the challenges people face when starting a mindfulness practice is the misconception that they need to empty their mind or stop all their thoughts. Let me be clear, that's not the goal. Your mind is going to think, that's what it does. The goal of mindfulness isn't to stop thinking, but to notice your thoughts without getting lost in them. Imagine your thoughts like clouds passing across the sky. You don't have to chase them or push them away. Just observe them and let them float by. You can bring mindfulness into almost any activity. Washing dishes, for example, might seem like a mundane chore, but it's a great opportunity to practice mindfulness. Feel the warmth of the water, notice the texture of the soap bubbles, Hear the sound of the water running. When you're fully present in the act of washing dishes, it stops being a mindless task and becomes a moment of connection with the here and now. The same goes for eating. How often do we rush through meals without really tasting our food? Try eating slowly and savoring each bite. Notice the flavors, the textures, the aroma. That's mindfulness in action. As you deepen your mindfulness practice, you might notice a shift in how you experience life. You become more patient, more compassionate, and more resilient. Stress doesn't weigh you down as much because you've learned how to stay present and grounded. Even in difficult moments, mindfulness helps you find a sense of calm and clarity. It's not about avoiding challenges or pretending everything is fine. It's about facing life with a sense of presence and inner strength. Mindfulness can also transform your relationships. When you're fully present with someone, you're truly listening to them, not just waiting for your turn to speak. You're picking up on their emotions and understanding them on a deeper level. That kind of connection strengthens bonds and fosters trust. Imagine how much better your relationships could be if you brought that level of attention and care to every interaction. One of the most valuable lessons mindfulness teaches is that you don't have to wait for the perfect moment to feel happy or at peace. Joy and contentment are available to you right now, in the small, everyday moments. It might be the feeling of sunshine on your face, the sound of laughter, or the satisfaction of completing a task. When you're mindful, you're more attuned to these moments, and life becomes richer and more fulfilling. Of course, mindfulness is a practice, and like any practice, it takes time and effort. There will be days when your mind feels restless or distracted, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep showing up. Even a few minutes of mindfulness each day can make a difference over time. And remember, you don't have to do it alone. There are countless resources from guided meditations to mindfulness apps that can support you on your journey. So, start small. Take a few moments each day to focus on your breath, tune into your senses, or simply be present with whatever you're doing. As you build this habit, you'll begin to notice the ripple effects in your life. You'll feel more grounded, more in control, and more connected to yourself and the world around you. Mindfulness isn't just a practice, it's a way of living. And when you embrace it, you open the door to a life that's more intentional, more peaceful, and more fulfilling. Chapter 6. The Role of Gratitude. Gratitude has the power to shift your entire perspective. Think about that for a moment. Just by taking a few moments to appreciate what you have, instead of focusing on what you lack, you can completely transform the way you see the world. That's the beauty of gratitude. It's simple, but it's incredibly powerful. And yet, so often, we let it slip through the cracks of our busy lives. We get caught up in our routines, our problems, and our endless to-do lists, forgetting to pause and say, "Thank you for the little things that make life beautiful." You might be wondering, why does gratitude matter so much? It's because gratitude changes the lens through which you view your life. When you're grateful, you're not dwelling on what's missing or what's wrong. Instead, you're acknowledging what's good, what's working, and what brings you joy. That shift in focus has a ripple effect. It boosts your mood, strengthens your relationships, and even improves your physical health. Gratitude isn't just a feel-good idea, it's backed by science. Studies show that people who practice gratitude regularly experience less stress, sleep better, and feel more connected to others. Let's talk about what gratitude looks like in real life. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture or a long list of things you're thankful for. It can be as simple as noticing the way the sunlight streams through your window in the morning, appreciating the kindness of a stranger who held the door open for you, or savoring the taste of your favorite meal. Gratitude lives in the small moments. It's about being present and recognizing the gifts that are already in your life, no matter how big or small. One of the easiest ways to cultivate gratitude is to start a daily gratitude practice. This doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as straightforward as taking a few minutes each day to write down 3 things you're grateful for. Maybe it's your health, your family, or even just a good cup of coffee. The act of writing it down makes it real and helps you internalize those feelings of appreciation. Over time, you'll start to notice more and more things to be grateful for, and that's when the real magic happens. Gratitude becomes a habit, a way of life. You might find it challenging at first, especially if you're going through a tough time. It's hard to feel grateful when life is throwing challenges your way. But here's the thing, gratitude isn't about denying your struggles or pretending everything is perfect. It's about finding the good even in the midst of difficulty. Maybe you're grateful for the strength you're discovering within yourself as you face these challenges. Or perhaps you're thankful for the support of a friend who's standing by you. Gratitude doesn't erase the hard parts of life, but it gives you a way to navigate them with a little more grace and resilience. Another powerful way to practice gratitude is to express it to others. How often do we think about the people who make a difference in our lives but never tell them? Take a moment to reach out to someone who's had a positive impact on you. It could be a family member, a friend, a teacher, or even a colleague. Let them know what they mean to you and how they've helped you. Not only will it make their day, but it will also deepen your connection with them. Gratitude has a way of strengthening relationships and building a sense of community. Sometimes we forget to show gratitude to ourselves. Think about all the effort you've put into your own growth and well-being. Think about the challenges you've overcome, the goals you've achieved, and the kindness you've shown to others. You deserve to acknowledge and appreciate yourself for all of that. Self-gratitude is an important part of the equation. It's about recognizing your own worth and treating yourself with the same kindness and appreciation that you show to others. Gratitude also has a way of putting things into perspective. When you're focused on what you're thankful for, it becomes harder to dwell on what's missing or what's going wrong. You start to see the bigger picture. That doesn't mean you ignore your challenges or settle for less than you deserve. It means you approach life with a mindset that's rooted in abundance rather than scarcity. You realize that even in difficult times, there's still so much to be grateful for. One of the most beautiful things about gratitude is that it's contagious. When you make an effort to show gratitude, it inspires others to do the same. It creates a ripple effect that can spread positivity and kindness far beyond what you might imagine. Think about the impact you could have by simply showing appreciation to the people around you. A kind word, a heartfelt thank you, or a small act of generosity can brighten someone's day and remind them of the good in the world. And the more you practice gratitude, the more you'll inspire others to do the same. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of life and forget to pause and appreciate what you have. But when you make gratitude a priority, it changes everything. It's not just about feeling good in the moment, it's about creating a mindset that helps you navigate life with more joy, resilience, and purpose. Gratitude has a way of bringing you back to what really matters. It helps you see the beauty in the ordinary and the extraordinary in the everyday. So take a moment today to reflect on what you're grateful for. It doesn't have to be anything big or profound. It can be as simple as the laughter of a loved one, the comfort of your favorite chair, or the fact that you made it through another day. Whatever it is, take a moment to really feel it, to let that gratitude sink in. And then carry that feeling with you as you go about your day. Let it guide your actions, your words, and your interactions with others. Because when you live with gratitude, you're not just changing your own life, you're making the world a better place, one moment at a time. Chapter 7. Managing negative thoughts. Your thoughts have the power to shape your life. Let that sink in for a moment. What you think about, how you interpret your experiences, and the stories you tell yourself all create the framework for how you live. But here's the thing, our minds can be tricky. Sometimes we let negative thoughts take over, clouding our judgment, sapping our energy, and holding us back from reaching our potential. The good news, you have the ability to challenge those thoughts and rewrite the narrative in a way that empowers you. Negative thoughts aren't uncommon. In fact, they're a part of being human. It's natural to have doubts, fears, or insecurities pop up from time to time. What matters is how you respond to them. Do you let them take the wheel, steering you towards self-doubt and defeat? Or do you take control, questioning their validity and steering yourself toward a more constructive path? That choice, while not always easy, is entirely within your power. One of the first steps to managing negative thoughts is becoming aware of them. So many of our thought patterns run on autopilot. They're like background noise, constantly playing but rarely noticed. Take a moment to listen. What kind of things do you say to yourself throughout the day? Are you quick to criticize yourself for small mistakes? Do you jump to worst-case scenarios when things don't go as planned? Awareness is key because you can't change what you don't acknowledge. When you catch a negative thought, don't let it sit there unchallenged. Ask yourself, is this thought true? Often negative thoughts are exaggerated or outright false. For example, you might think, I'm terrible at everything, after making a mistake at work. But is that really true? Of course not. One mistake doesn't define your abilities or your worth. By questioning the accuracy of your thoughts, you start to weaken their hold over you. Another helpful approach is to reframe your negative thoughts. Instead of focusing on what went wrong, try shifting your perspective to what you can learn or how you can grow from the experience. Let's say you're feeling overwhelmed by a new challenge. Instead of thinking, I can't do this, try saying, this is a chance for me to grow and prove to myself that I'm capable. Reframing doesn't mean ignoring the difficulty of the situation, but it helps you focus on the opportunity rather than the obstacle. It's also important to practice self-compassion. Negative thoughts often come from a place of harsh self-judgment. We can be our own worst critics, holding ourselves to impossible standards and beating ourselves up when we fall short. But think about how you would talk to a friend in the same situation. Would you be as critical and unforgiving? Probably not. You'd offer words of encouragement and understanding. Treat yourself with the same kindness. Remind yourself that it's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to not have everything figured out. You're doing the best you can, and that's enough. Sometimes, negative thoughts are deeply ingrained, and breaking free from them can feel like an uphill battle. In these moments, having a set of tools to redirect your focus can make all the difference. For instance, journaling can be a powerful way to process your thoughts and gain clarity. Write down what's bothering you and explore where those thoughts are coming from. Are they based on facts or assumptions? Are they helpful or harmful? Writing things down can help you see your thoughts more objectively and identify patterns you might not have noticed before. Another tool is mindfulness. Negative thoughts often pull us into the past or the future, making us relive old regrets or worry about what's to come. Mindfulness brings you back to the present moment, grounding you in what's real and immediate. You can practice mindfulness through deep breathing, meditation, or simply paying attention to your senses. Notice the feel of your feet on the ground, the sound of birds outside your window, or the rhythm of your breath. When you're fully present, negative thoughts lose some of their power. Don't underestimate the importance of surrounding yourself with positive influences. The people you spend time with, the media you consume, and the environments you choose all affect your mindset. Seek out relationships that uplift you and inspire you to be your best self. Limit your exposure to negativity, whether it's in the form of toxic people, social media, or news cycles. Instead, fill your life with positivity, books, podcasts, music, and activities that bring you joy and remind you of what's possible. It's worth mentioning that managing negative thoughts isn't about being positive all the time. Life has its ups and downs, and it's normal to feel sad, frustrated, or disappointed at times. The goal isn't to suppress those feelings, but to avoid getting stuck in a cycle of negativity. It's about finding a balance where you can acknowledge your emotions without letting them control you. By managing your thoughts, you give yourself the freedom to move forward with resilience and hope. Over time, as you practice these strategies, you'll start to notice a shift. Negative thoughts won't disappear completely. They're part of being human, but they won't have the same grip on you. You'll be able to recognize them for what they are, fleeting thoughts, not truths. And in their place, you'll make room for thoughts that empower, encourage, and uplift you. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Everyone deals with negative thoughts at some point. What sets people apart is their willingness to face those thoughts head-on and take steps to manage them. By doing so, you're not just improving your mental health, you're building the foundation for a stronger, more resilient life. And that's something to be proud of. Chapter 8. Setting healthy boundaries. Your peace of mind is priceless, but how often do you let others disturb it? Setting boundaries isn't just about keeping people out. It's about protecting the space where you can thrive. For too long, many of us have been conditioned to put others first, to say yes when we want to say no, and to stretch ourselves thin to avoid disappointing anyone. But here's the truth. Every time you compromise your boundaries, you chip away at your own well-being. It's not selfish to protect your energy. It's necessary. Think about the times you felt overwhelmed or drained. Was it because you took on too much? Maybe you agreed to something you didn't really want to do, or allowed someone to overstep in a way that left you feeling resentful. These moments don't just happen randomly. They're often the result of unclear or non-existent boundaries. And the thing about boundaries is this: if you don't set them, someone else will do it for you, and it's rarely in your favor. The first step in setting boundaries is understanding your own limits. What makes you feel uncomfortable, stressed, or taken advantage of? Pay attention to your gut reactions. If you feel a pang of irritation or unease in certain situations, that's your inner self telling you that a boundary has been crossed. Listen to that voice. It's your guide to what needs to change. Once you're clear on your limits, the next step is communication. This is where many people struggle, because it can feel awkward or confrontational to express your needs. But remember, boundaries aren't about creating conflict. They're about fostering healthier relationships with others and yourself. When you approach boundary setting from a place of honesty and respect, it's less about drawing lines and more about creating mutual understanding. Let's say you have a friend who constantly calls you late at night, disrupting your sleep. Instead of stewing in frustration or ignoring their calls, have a straightforward conversation. You could say something like, "I really value our talks, but I've been struggling with sleep lately. Can we try catching up during the day instead?" Notice how this approach focuses on your needs without blaming or attacking the other person. It's firm yet kind, which is the balance you want to strike when setting boundaries. Of course, not everyone will respond positively to your boundaries. Some people might push back, especially if they've grown accustomed to you always being available or agreeable. This resistance isn't a reflection of you, it's a reflection of their discomfort with change. Stay firm. Remind yourself why you're setting this boundary in the first place. Your mental and emotional health isn't up for negotiation. Enforcing boundaries can be challenging, but it's an essential part of the process. If someone continues to disregard your limits despite clear communication, you may need to take further action. This could mean limiting your interactions with that person, or in some cases distancing yourself altogether. It's not easy, but protecting your peace is worth it. Sometimes, the hardest boundaries to set are the ones with ourselves. We're often our own biggest critics, pushing ourselves to the brink in the name of productivity or perfection. How many times have you skipped rest because you felt guilty about taking a break? Or said yes to something you didn't want to do because you didn't want to disappoint someone? Self-boundaries are just as important as the ones we set with others. They're about honoring your own needs and giving yourself permission to prioritize your well-being. Start small. Maybe it's committing to shutting off work emails after a certain time each evening, or dedicating one day a week to rest and recharge. These small acts of self-care are boundaries in action. They're reminders that you deserve the same respect and consideration you give to others. Another crucial aspect of boundaries is learning to say no. This two-letter word can be surprisingly difficult to utter, especially if you're used to being a people pleaser. But saying no isn't about being difficult or unkind. It's about being honest. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your priorities or values, you're saying no to something else, often your own needs. Give yourself permission to say no without guilt. It's a powerful way to reclaim your time and energy. As you practice setting and maintaining boundaries, you'll likely notice a shift. You'll feel more in control of your life, less stressed, and more aligned with your values. Your relationships will improve too, because they'll be built on mutual respect rather than unspoken resentment. People who truly care about you will appreciate and honor your boundaries. And those who don't, they'll either adapt or fade away, making room for healthier connections. Boundaries are a form of self-respect. They're a way of saying, I value myself enough to protect what matters to me. And the beautiful thing is, the more you practice setting boundaries, the easier it becomes. It's like building a muscle. At first it might feel uncomfortable or even painful, but with time and consistency, it becomes second nature. You learn to trust yourself, to stand firm in your values, and to create a life that feels balanced and fulfilling. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Everyone struggles with boundaries at some point. What matters is that you're willing to do the work. By setting boundaries, you're not just protecting your peace, you're paving the way for a life that's authentically yours, and that's a life worth living. Chapter 9. The importance of self-care. If you don't take care of yourself, who will? This isn't just a passing question, it's a challenge to really look at how much energy you give to everything and everyone else, while leaving yourself last on the list. Think about how often you've ignored your own needs because you felt guilty about taking time for yourself. How many times have you brushed off exhaustion, stress, or even a deep sense of unhappiness, telling yourself you'll deal with it later? Here's the truth, later doesn't come unless you make it happen. Taking care of yourself is not indulgent or selfish, it's essential. And it's time to make self-care a non-negotiable part of your life. Self-care starts with awareness. You have to be willing to check in with yourself and ask the hard questions. How are you feeling, really? Are you running on fumes, overwhelmed by everything on your plate? Or maybe you've been ignoring signs that something's off because it feels easier to keep pushing through than to stop and deal with it. A lot of us have been taught to equate productivity with worthiness, but that's a dangerous trap. Your value doesn't come from how much you can get done or how many people you can please. It comes from simply being you, and you deserve to feel good, whole, and cared for. Self-care isn't just about bubble baths and spa days, although those can be nice. It's about giving yourself what you need to function well, both mentally and physically. It's about feeding your body nutritious food, getting enough sleep, and staying active. It's also about creating time to breathe, relax, and connect with what makes you happy. These aren't luxuries, they're the foundation of your well-being. When you're taking care of yourself, you're better equipped to handle life's challenges, and you're more present for the people you care about. Let's talk about boundaries again, because they're deeply tied to self-care. If you're constantly saying yes to things you don't want to do, or stretching yourself too thin, there's no room left for what you actually need. Protecting your time and energy is an act of self-respect. It's okay to say no to things that drain you or don't align with your priorities. It's okay to take a step back when you're feeling overwhelmed. You don't owe anyone an explanation for taking care of yourself. Remember, every time you say yes to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying no to yourself. Flip that equation. Say yes to yourself more often. Emotional self-care is just as important as the physical side. Life throws all kinds of stresses at us, and if we're not careful, they can build up and weigh us down. It's crucial to process your emotions and not bottle them up. Find healthy ways to release stress, whether that's through journaling, talking to a trusted friend, or seeking professional support if you need it. There's strength in acknowledging when you're struggling and reaching out for help. You don't have to do everything alone, and asking for support is not a sign of weakness, it's an act of courage. Another powerful form of self-care is creating rituals that ground you. Maybe it's starting your day with 10 minutes of quiet reflection, or ending it by listing 3 things you're grateful for. It could be a weekly walk in nature, a monthly date with yourself to do something you love, or even just taking 5 minutes during a busy day to sit still and breathe deeply. These moments are small but significant. They're reminders that you matter and that your well-being is worth prioritizing. One of the biggest barriers to self-care is guilt. So many of us feel like we're being selfish if we take time for ourselves, especially if we have people depending on us. But think about it this way, when you're running on empty, you're not giving anyone your best. You're more likely to snap at your loved ones, make mistakes at work, or feel disconnected from the things that usually bring you joy. Taking care of yourself isn't just for your benefit, it's for everyone around you too. When you're rested, healthy, and happy, you show up as your best self, and that's a gift to the people in your life. Sometimes, self-care requires letting go of things that no longer serve you. This could mean stepping away from toxic relationships, reevaluating habits that drain your energy, or even changing careers if your current one is causing you more harm than good. These decisions aren't easy, but they're necessary if you want to create a life that supports your well-being. Trust that it's okay to let go of what doesn't fit anymore. You're allowed to change and grow. Remember that self-care is not a one-time thing. It's not something you do just when you're feeling burned out or overwhelmed. It's a lifelong practice, a commitment to yourself that you'll show up and take care of your needs every day. Some days that might mean big, intentional acts of care, like taking a mental health day or booking a therapy session. Other days, it might mean small but meaningful choices, like drinking enough water or taking a few deep breaths when you're stressed. The key is consistency. Every act of self-care, no matter how small, adds up over time. It's also important to celebrate the progress you make. Maybe you've started prioritizing sleep, or finally set a boundary with someone who was draining you. Maybe you've created a morning routine that helps you feel grounded, or you've started saying no without feeling guilty. These wins matter. Acknowledge them. Give yourself credit for the ways you're showing up for yourself. It's not about being perfect, It's about making progress and honoring the effort you're putting in. As you cultivate self-care, you'll notice a shift in how you feel. You'll have more energy, clarity, and resilience. You'll feel more in tune with yourself and more capable of handling whatever life throws your way. And perhaps most importantly, you'll build a stronger relationship with yourself. You'll learn to trust yourself, to listen to your needs, and to treat yourself with the same kindness and compassion you extend to others. That's the ultimate goal of self-care, not just to survive, but to truly thrive. And you deserve nothing less. Chapter 10: Cultivating Emotional Intelligence. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to navigate relationships, challenges, and even setbacks with grace and ease, while others struggle to find their footing? The answer often lies in something we don't talk about enough: emotional intelligence. It's not about being the smartest person in the room or having all the answers. Emotional intelligence is about understanding yourself, connecting with others, and responding to life in a way that builds resilience instead of tearing you down. And here's the best part: it's a skill you can develop, no matter where you're starting from. Emotional intelligence begins with self-awareness. That means paying attention to what you're feeling and why. Think about the last time you felt upset, frustrated, or overwhelmed. Did you pause to reflect on what was really going on, or did you brush it off, hoping it would go away? Too often, we're so busy moving from one thing to the next that we ignore our emotions until they boil over. But when you take the time to check in with yourself, you're better equipped to handle whatever comes your way. Start by asking yourself simple questions. How am I feeling right now? What triggered this emotion? What do I need in this moment? These questions may seem small, but they're incredibly powerful. They're the foundation of emotional awareness. Once you understand your emotions, the next step is learning how to regulate them. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or pretending everything's fine when it's not. It means finding healthy ways to process what you're experiencing so you can move forward without being controlled by your emotions. For example, if you're feeling anxious, instead of letting it spiral, you might take a few deep breaths, go for a walk, or write down what's bothering you. If you're angry, you might need to step away from the situation and give yourself time to cool off before responding. Emotional regulation is about giving yourself the space to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. Another key aspect of emotional intelligence is empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. Empathy is what allows us to connect on a deeper level, to truly listen and support the people we care about. It's not about fixing someone's problems or always knowing the right thing to say. Sometimes, it's simply about being present and showing that you care. Think about a time when someone really listened to you without judgment or interruption. How did that make you feel? That's the power of empathy. And just like self-awareness, it's a skill you can practice. Start by putting yourself in someone else's shoes. Imagine what they might be feeling and why. Ask questions, listen without jumping to conclusions, and let them know you're there for them. Building emotional intelligence also means learning how to navigate relationships with care and intention. This includes everything from managing conflict to expressing your needs in a way that strengthens your connections rather than straining them. Relationships are rarely perfect, and misunderstandings are inevitable. But when you approach them with emotional intelligence, you can turn challenges into opportunities for growth. For instance, instead of reacting defensively during an argument, you might pause and consider the other person's perspective. Instead of bottling up your feelings, you might communicate openly and honestly about what's bothering you. These small shifts can make a big difference in how you relate to others. One of the most overlooked aspects of emotional intelligence is self-compassion. We're often our own harshest critics, beating ourselves up over mistakes or falling into the trap of comparison. But here's the truth: you're human, and humans aren't perfect. Self-compassion means treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you'd offer a friend. It means acknowledging your struggles without judgment and reminding yourself that it's okay to not have it all figured out. The next time you catch yourself being overly critical, pause and ask, would I say this to someone I care about? If not, it's time to rewrite the script. Speak to yourself with kindness, celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and give yourself grace when things don't go as planned. Developing emotional intelligence isn't a one-time event, it's a lifelong journey. It requires patience, practice, and a willingness to learn from your experiences. But the rewards are worth it. When you strengthen your emotional intelligence, you're not just improving your relationships or managing stress more effectively. You're creating a foundation for a more fulfilling and balanced life. You're equipping yourself with the tools to navigate challenges with resilience and to build connections that truly matter. As you move forward, remember that progress takes time. You don't have to get everything right all at once. Start small. Maybe it's taking a few minutes each day to check in with yourself or practicing active listening in your conversations. Maybe it's journaling about your emotions or taking a moment to pause before reacting in a heated situation. Whatever it looks like for you, know that every step you take is a step toward greater emotional awareness, empathy, and resilience. And that's something to be proud of. The beauty of emotional intelligence is that it doesn't just benefit you, it creates a ripple effect. When you show up with self-awareness, empathy, and compassion, you inspire others to do the same. You create spaces where people feel seen, heard, and valued. And in a world that often feels disconnected, that kind of impact is priceless. So keep going. Keep growing. You have everything it takes to build a life rooted in emotional intelligence, and the journey starts right here, right now. Chapter 11. Building a support system. There's no way to go through life alone. Not if you want to thrive. Success, peace of mind, and happiness don't just come from within. They come from the people around you, the support you receive, and the relationships you build. Building a strong support system isn't just about finding people to lean on when you're down. It's about surrounding yourself with the right individuals who challenge you, encourage you, and help you grow. It's about creating a network that lifts you higher when you need it most. We all need someone. It doesn't matter how strong, driven, or independent we are. There will always be times when we need help, guidance, or just a reminder that we're not alone. And there's incredible power in knowing that there are people who've got your back, no matter what. But here's the thing. Building that kind of support system takes time, effort, and a clear understanding of who you need in your life. We often hear about the importance of networking in professional circles, and yes, that's important. But what's just as critical, if not more so, is having people who genuinely care about you, who want to see you succeed, and who are willing to stick with you through the hard times. When you build these kinds of relationships, you create a foundation of mental strength that helps you weather any storm. Think about the people who have made the biggest impact on your life. It's not necessarily about the number of people, but the quality of the connections. There are friends, family, mentors, and even strangers who have the power to change your life for the better. These are the people who listen to you without judgment, who see your potential even when you can't see it yourself, and who push you to be the best version of yourself. These are the people who make you feel seen, heard, and understood. But here's the tough part. Not everyone is meant to be part of your inner circle. You have to be discerning. Building a strong support system means learning to say no to people or situations that drain your energy, undermine your confidence, or don't align with your values. You might have to let go of relationships that aren't serving you anymore, even if it's painful. But here's the truth: when you remove the negative influences, you make space for the positive ones to come in. Start by identifying who truly adds value to your life. Who's always there for you when you need them. Who challenges you to think differently and inspires you to keep going, even when it seems tough. These are the people you want to keep close. They're the ones who will support you, cheer you on, and help you stay on track when you start to lose focus. Building a support system is about being intentional with your relationships. It's not just about collecting people for the sake of it. It's about surrounding yourself with those who will help you become the best version of yourself. You don't need a huge crowd. In fact, it's often better to have a few solid, dependable people in your corner than to have dozens of acquaintances who don't really know or care about you on a deeper level. So, how do you go about building this kind of support system? First and foremost, be that person for others. Be someone who listens, who offers support, and who challenges others to grow. When you give, you create a space for others to give back. Relationships aren't one-sided, they're a two-way street. You get what you put out. When you show up for others, you'll find that people are more likely to show up for you in return. It also helps to seek out communities that align with your values, interests, and goals. Whether that's a professional group, a fitness community, or a group of like-minded individuals working towards self-improvement, being part of a community can provide a sense of belonging. You'll find people who are on a similar journey and who understand what you're going through. You'll have a safe space to share your struggles, celebrate your wins, and learn from each other. Mentorship is another powerful tool when building your support system. Having someone who's been where you are, who has experience and wisdom to share, can make all the difference. A mentor can provide guidance, hold you accountable, and offer insights that you might not have considered on your own. A good mentor doesn't just give you answers, they help you develop your own answers, encourage you to think critically, and challenge you to grow. But remember, it's not just about having people who lift you up, it's also about having people who help keep you grounded. A strong support system isn't about constant praise and validation. It's about people who will tell you the truth. Even when it's hard to hear, they'll call you out when you're not living up to your potential, and they'll challenge you to do better. These are the people who care enough to hold you accountable and who will help you become the person you're meant to be. There's also incredible power in being vulnerable with the people you trust. When you open up and share your struggles, fears, and dreams, you create deeper connections. Vulnerability allows you to show up as your authentic self, and it invites others to do the same. When you're able to be real with the people in your life, you allow for true support and understanding to flourish. It's not always easy to be vulnerable, but it's an essential part of building meaningful relationships. But what happens when you don't have a strong support system? What if you feel isolated, or like you don't have anyone to turn to? This can be a tough spot to be in, but it's important to remember that you have the power to change that. Start by reaching out. Start small. Build relationships one step at a time. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but as you put yourself out there and seek out connections, you'll begin to find your tribe. Remember, people are more willing to help than we often give them credit for. You just have to be brave enough to ask. In times when you don't have immediate support, you also have to learn how to support yourself. Your inner voice, your own belief in your abilities, can be just as powerful as the encouragement you get from others. Self-reliance doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means trusting yourself to make decisions, navigate challenges, and keep moving forward, even when things get tough. This is where mental strength comes into play. By building a strong internal support system, you become more resilient to external circumstances and more capable of weathering life's storms. Ultimately, your support system isn't just a group of people you lean on when things get rough. It's an essential part of your journey to becoming the best version of yourself. It's the foundation that helps you grow, stretch, and evolve. Without it, you might find yourself drifting, struggling to stay grounded, or trying to do everything on your own. But with the right support, you'll have a team behind you that's rooting for your success, ready to catch you when you fall, and always ready to help you rise higher. So take the time to build those relationships. Nurture the people who matter. Seek out those who inspire, challenge, and encourage you. And don't be afraid to lean on them when you need to. Because with a solid support system in place, there's no limit to what you can achieve. You don't have to go it alone. The right people can make all the difference. Chapter 12. Overcoming setbacks. You don't fail when life knocks you down. You fail when you refuse to get back up. Life will inevitably throw you curveballs, and sometimes it might feel like it's all coming at you at once. But it's not the setbacks that define you. It's how you respond to them that truly shapes who you are and what you can accomplish. Setbacks are a natural part of the journey, a necessary test of your resilience and your ability to rise above the challenges in your path. And here's the key: every setback is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become stronger than you were before. We all face setbacks. Whether it's a failed project, a setback in your personal life, a job lost, or a dream that seems to be slipping through your fingers, the feeling of defeat can be overwhelming. It can leave you questioning your worth, your abilities, and your future. But let me tell you something: setbacks are not the end. They are simply part of the process, a reminder that you're on the right path. They are the challenges that push you to evolve and become more than you were before. What separates those who ultimately succeed from those who fall short is not talent, luck, or circumstances. It's resilience. Resilience is the ability to face adversity head-on, to stumble, fall, and then get back up and keep moving forward. It's the belief that you can overcome anything if you don't give up. It's the unwavering conviction that no matter how tough life gets, you have the strength to persevere. The first step in overcoming a setback is understanding that it's not a reflection of your abilities or your worth. A setback doesn't define who you are. It's simply a situation, a moment in time. It's something that you can learn from, something you can use as fuel to propel you forward. What matters most is not the setback itself, but how you respond to it. Do you let it break you, or do you rise from it with greater determination? I'm sure you've heard stories of famous people who faced incredible setbacks before achieving success. Thomas Edison, for example, failed thousands of times before he invented the light bulb. But instead of seeing his failures as the end, he saw them as learning experiences, as stepping stones towards success. He said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's the mindset you need to adopt when faced with setbacks. View them as opportunities to learn, to grow, and to try again. When you experience a setback, it's easy to feel like everything you've worked for has been wasted. It's easy to get caught up in negative thoughts, to think that maybe you're not cut out for success, that maybe you should give up. But that's when you need to dig deep and remember why you started in the first place. Remember the vision you had, the goals you set, and the progress you've already made. Don't let a single setback erase all the hard work you've put in. Yes, you might have to adjust your strategy or your timeline, but that doesn't mean you failed. It just means the road to success isn't always a straight line. Sometimes it's more like a winding, rocky path, full of unexpected turns. But if you keep moving forward, you'll eventually get to where you want to be. One of the most powerful ways to overcome a setback is to reframe your thinking. Instead of seeing it as a failure, see it as feedback. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What did I do right? What can I do differently next time? Instead of dwelling on the disappointment or frustration, shift your focus to the lessons you can take away. Every setback carries valuable information that can help you grow and improve. The most successful people aren't the ones who never experience failure. They're the ones who use failure as a stepping stone to success. Another important aspect of overcoming setbacks is learning to let go of perfectionism. We all have this image of how things should be, and when they don't go according to plan, we can feel like we've failed. But the truth is, there is no perfect path to success. There are only imperfect steps that lead you toward growth. Embrace the messiness, the mistakes, the bumps in the road. They're all part of the process. Perfection is an illusion. It's about progress, not perfection. Take a moment to reflect on some of the setbacks you faced in your life. Maybe there was a time when you tried something new and it didn't work out. Or maybe you encountered a roadblock that made you question your direction. Think about how far you've come since then. Think about what you've learned, how you've grown, and how those setbacks actually made you stronger. You wouldn't be the person you are today without those experiences. The setbacks didn't defeat you, they shaped you into who you are right now, ready to face whatever comes next. In times of setback, it's crucial to stay connected to your support system. The people who believe in you, who encourage you to keep going, and who remind you of your potential are invaluable. Don't be afraid to lean on them when things get tough. They can help you gain perspective, provide advice, or simply remind you that you're not alone. There's power in sharing your struggles with others who care about you, and who can offer the support and motivation you need to keep moving forward. But also remember, you are your own greatest source of strength. When everything around you feels uncertain, when the world seems to be falling apart, it's your inner resolve, your belief in yourself, and your determination that will carry you through. Trust in your ability to bounce back. Trust that you have everything you need within you to face whatever challenges come your way. You've survived every difficult moment in your life so far, and you will continue to do so. Lastly, be patient with yourself. Healing from a setback takes time. It's okay to feel frustrated or disappointed, but don't stay there too long. Don't let a temporary setback hold you back from your bigger vision. Give yourself the grace to process your emotions, to learn from the experience, and to keep moving forward at your own pace. The journey is long, and setbacks are a natural part of it. But every time you rise from one, you get stronger, more capable, and more resilient. So the next time you face a setback, remember this: it's not the end. It's simply a moment in time, a challenge to overcome. You have the strength, the wisdom, and the resilience to turn any setback into a comeback. Don't let one moment of difficulty stop you from achieving what you're meant to achieve. Keep going, keep pushing. Your comeback story is just beginning. Chapter 13. The importance of goal setting. You won't get anywhere if you don't know where you're going. That's why goal setting is one of the most crucial aspects of personal growth and success. Without clear goals, life can feel aimless, like you're drifting through the motions, hoping things will work out. But when you set a goal, something incredible happens. You create direction. You give yourself purpose. You give your energy a place to go. Goals are the foundation upon which everything else is built. They are the roadmap that guides you through the challenges, the obstacles, and the doubts, leading you toward the life you want. The importance of goal setting cannot be overstated. It's the difference between wishing for something to happen and making it happen. It's not just about having dreams, it's about transforming those dreams into actionable steps that lead to tangible results. Goals give you something to strive for, something to measure progress against. They push you to move forward even when the journey gets tough, and they help you maintain focus even when life distracts you with its endless noise. But here's the thing, setting goals isn't as simple as writing down a list of things you want to accomplish. It requires intention, clarity, and a commitment to following through. It's about more than just saying, "I want to be successful," or "I want to lose weight." It's about creating specific, meaningful goals that align with your values, desires, and long-term vision for your life. It's about getting clear on what you really want, and then taking the steps to make it a reality. To begin, it's important to know why you're setting a goal in the first place. Goals need to have meaning. They need to be tied to something that motivates you, something that drives you to wake up every day and put in the work. If your goal doesn't excite you, or if it's not connected to your core values, it's going to be tough to stay committed. So ask yourself, why do I want to achieve this goal? What will it give me? How will it change my life? Understanding the why behind your goal will give you the energy and the determination to keep going, even when things get difficult. Once you've identified the reason behind your goal, the next step is to make it specific. The more specific you can be, the better. Instead of saying, "I want to get fit," say, "I want to lose 20 pounds in the next 6 months." Instead of "I want to be successful," say, "I want to increase my income by 30% within the next year." Specificity gives you clarity and direction. It helps you know exactly what you're working toward, and it makes it easier to track your progress. But specificity is only one part of the equation. Your goal also needs to be measurable. If you can't measure your progress, how will you know if you're on track? Whether it's increasing your savings, running a marathon, or mastering a new skill, having a way to measure your success is key to staying motivated. Break your goal down into smaller milestones that you can track. These milestones serve as checkpoints, letting you know how far you've come and how much further you have to go. The next component of goal setting is making sure your goal is achievable. This doesn't mean setting goals that are easy or insignificant. It means setting goals that stretch you, but that you also believe are within reach. If you set a goal that feels completely out of your grasp, you might get discouraged before you even begin. On the other hand, if you set a goal that's too easy, you won't feel the satisfaction of pushing yourself. Find a balance that challenges you but also feels realistic based on your current circumstances and resources. The key is to set a goal that you can confidently work toward, even if it takes hard work and perseverance. Another important element of goal setting is relevance. Your goal should align with your overall life vision. It should reflect who you are, where you want to go, and what you truly value. If your goals are out of alignment with your deeper desires, they're going to feel like a chore rather than a passion. Take a moment to think about your big picture. Where do you want to be in 5 or 10 years? What kind of life do you want to create for yourself? Your goals should be stepping stones toward that bigger vision, not distractions that take you off course. Lastly, goals need a timeline. Without a deadline, it's easy to procrastinate or lose focus. A timeline gives your goal urgency and helps you stay accountable. It creates a sense of purpose and reminds you that time is precious. But be realistic about your timeline. You don't want to rush something that requires time and effort, but you also don't want to stretch the timeline so far that you lose motivation. Set a date and make it a goal to reach that date with your goal in hand. Once you've set a goal that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, it's time to create an action plan. This is where most people fall short. Setting the goal is easy. Following through is the hard part. An action plan breaks your goal down into smaller, manageable steps that you can take every day. It's about turning your dream into a series of actionable tasks. And the more you focus on taking small, consistent steps, the closer you'll get to achieving your goal. Actionable steps are key because they create momentum. When you complete a task, no matter how small, it gives you a sense of accomplishment and drives you to keep going. It's about making progress every day, even if it's just one small step at a time. Over time, these small steps add up, and before you know it, you're closer to your goal than you ever imagined. But the path to achieving a goal is rarely smooth. There will be obstacles, setbacks, and moments of doubt along the way. And that's okay. The key is to stay flexible. If something doesn't go as planned, don't throw in the towel. Adjust your approach, but never lose sight of your end goal. Remember that success is not a straight line. It's full of twists and turns. It's how you respond to those challenges that will determine your success. Every time you face a challenge and keep moving forward, you're building resilience and strengthening your ability to reach your goals. As you work toward your goal, make sure to celebrate your milestones along the way. Recognize the progress you've made and take pride in the effort you're putting in. Achieving big goals doesn't happen overnight, but every small victory counts. Celebrate those victories to keep your motivation high and remind yourself that you're on the right path. At the end of the day, goal setting is about much more than just achieving something. It's about becoming the person you're meant to be. It's about pushing yourself to grow, to improve, and to keep striving for more. When you set clear, meaningful goals and work toward them with intention and determination, you're not just getting closer to your dreams, you're transforming your life in the process. So go ahead, set those goals, make them big, make them bold, but more importantly, take action. Break them down, work towards them every day, and stay committed. You have everything you need to succeed. All that's left is for you to take the first step. Chapter 14: Developing a Growth Mindset. The truth is, your potential is not fixed. It's not determined by where you are right now, your past mistakes, or even your current circumstances. Your potential is something that grows and evolves with you. But this growth is all dependent on your mindset. How you view challenges, failures, and success shapes the way you approach everything in life. And one of the most powerful shifts you can make is to embrace a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities and intelligence are not static. They're not something you're born with and stuck with forever. Instead, a growth mindset is the belief that through effort, learning, and perseverance, you can develop your abilities and intelligence over time. It's the understanding that you can always get better, no matter where you start. This mindset is the difference between seeing obstacles as roadblocks and seeing them as opportunities to learn and improve. People with a growth mindset don't shy away from challenges. They seek them out. They know that growth comes from pushing through discomfort, from tackling the hard stuff. They don't fear failure because they see it as an essential part of the learning process. Every failure is just feedback, an opportunity to try again, with more knowledge and experience under their belt. The growth mindset isn't about avoiding failure, it's about seeing failure as part of the path to success. But a growth mindset doesn't just happen overnight, it's a choice you make every day. It's a shift in how you think about yourself, your abilities, and the world around you. It's about deciding that you're not going to let challenges stop you. You're not going to let setbacks define you. Instead, you're going to embrace those moments as opportunities to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. It's about believing that no matter how tough things get, you have the ability to overcome them and grow from the experience. Let's take a closer look at what a growth mindset looks like in action. Imagine you're faced with a difficult task at work or school, something that feels overwhelming, something you're not sure you can handle. If you have a fixed mindset, you might think, I'm just not good at this, I'll never be able to do it, I should give up. But if you have a growth mindset, you'll think, this is tough, but I can learn how to do it. I'll figure it out, even if it takes time and effort. People with a growth mindset are more likely to see challenges as an opportunity to stretch themselves rather than as a threat to their abilities. Another key element of a growth mindset is the way you approach criticism. If you have a fixed mindset, you might take criticism personally. You might think it's a reflection of your abilities and your worth, but people with a growth mindset see feedback as valuable. They understand that feedback is a tool for improvement. It's not about you as a person, it's about helping you get better. When you adopt a growth mindset, you become more open to feedback, more willing to learn from your mistakes, and more able to use criticism to fuel your growth. One of the most important aspects of a growth mindset is the belief that effort leads to improvement. People with a growth mindset understand that success isn't about innate talent or natural ability, it's about putting in the work. They know that consistent effort over time will lead to progress. They understand that the more you practice, the better you get. Whether you're learning a new skill, building a business, or working toward a personal goal, the key to success is persistence. The growth mindset teaches you to focus on the process, not just the outcome. It's about recognizing that every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. This shift in perspective can be life-changing. Imagine how different your life would be if you started to see every challenge, every setback, every failure as an opportunity to grow. Imagine how different you would approach learning, relationships, work, and even your own personal development. When you embrace a growth mindset, you start to realize that you are capable of so much more than you ever thought possible. You start to see obstacles as stepping stones, not as insurmountable barriers. It's also important to recognize that developing a growth mindset takes time. It's a process. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and suddenly think differently about everything. It takes consistent practice and effort to shift your mindset, but it's a change that's worth making. And the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Start by paying attention to your self-talk. What are you telling yourself when you face challenges? Do you say things like, I can't do this, or this is too hard? Or do you say, this is tough, but I can figure it out, or I'm going to keep going, and I'll improve with practice? Your internal dialogue plays a big role in shaping your mindset. By changing the way you talk to yourself, you can change the way you approach challenges. Another way to develop a growth mindset is to focus on the process, not just the result. Instead of fixating on the end goal, pay attention to the effort and learning that happens along the way. Celebrate the small wins, the moments of progress, and the lessons you learn. When you start to enjoy the journey, you'll find that the destination becomes less important. You'll be focused on the growth you're experiencing in the present, rather than worrying about what's yet to come. One powerful way to cultivate a growth mindset is to surround yourself with people who have a similar mindset. When you're around others who are constantly learning, improving, and challenging themselves, it becomes easier to adopt the same attitude. Find mentors, peers, and role models who encourage you to grow, who support your efforts, and who remind you that you can always improve. Your environment plays a big role in shaping your mindset, so make sure you're surrounding yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. Finally, remember that growth is a lifelong journey. There's no finish line, no final destination. The more you learn, the more you realize how much there is to learn, and that's the beauty of it. Life is an ongoing process of growth, and there's always room for improvement. Embrace that fact, and you'll find that the possibilities for your life are endless. When you shift to a growth mindset, you stop seeing obstacles as obstacles. You stop seeing failures as failures. Instead, you see every experience as a chance to learn, to grow, and to become better. And in doing so, you unlock your true potential. The road may be long, and there may be bumps along the way, but with a growth mindset, there's nothing you can't overcome. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to develop, to improve, and to rise above. And that's what makes the journey worth it. Chapter 15. Facing life's challenges. Life doesn't hand out easy paths. It's full of twists, turns, obstacles, and challenges that can sometimes feel like they're meant to knock us down. You'll face moments when things aren't going your way, when everything seems like it's falling apart. But here's the truth. Challenges are inevitable. They are a part of the human experience. No one is immune. What really matters is how you choose to respond to them. When faced with adversity, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, to want to throw in the towel, to let the difficulties win. But this is where your mental strength is tested. How you approach these challenges, how you handle the difficult times, will define the person you become and the success you achieve. It's in these moments of struggle that your character is shaped. And while facing challenges might not be easy, the way you approach them can determine whether you come out on top or stay stuck where you are. It's essential to understand that challenges don't define you. They don't tell you who you are or what you're capable of. They're not a verdict on your life. They're simply a part of the journey. Life is full of ups and downs, and the challenges you face today might be the very things that shape your future success. The key is not to let those challenges defeat you. Instead, use them to fuel your growth, to build resilience, and to become stronger than you were before. One of the most powerful ways to face challenges is with a mindset of resilience. Resilience isn't about avoiding difficulty, it's about how you bounce back from it. Life will throw curveballs at you, but resilience is what allows you to get back up, to keep moving forward, and to turn setbacks into stepping stones. When you have resilience, you understand that no matter how tough things get, you are capable of handling it. You trust in your ability to weather the storm and come out stronger on the other side. Resilience doesn't come naturally to everyone. It's something you have to work at, something you have to build over time. It starts with developing a deep sense of belief in yourself. You have to trust that you have the strength within you to deal with whatever comes your way. It's about recognizing that challenges are temporary and that you have the power to push through them. Resilience is built by facing difficulties head-on, not shying away from them. Another important aspect of facing challenges is understanding that you don't have to do it alone. In fact, trying to handle everything by yourself can be one of the biggest obstacles to overcoming difficulties. No one is meant to go through life's struggles in isolation. The most successful people, the most resilient people, are often the ones who reach out for help, who lean on their support system when times get tough. Whether it's friends, family, mentors, or colleagues, there are people around you who care about you and want to see you succeed. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Seeking support doesn't mean you're weak or incapable. In fact, it shows strength. It shows that you're wise enough to know that collaboration, perspective, and shared wisdom can help you navigate the rough patches. It's a sign of emotional maturity to know when to ask for help, when to lean on others, and when to give yourself permission to lean into the support network that's available to you. The people who love you and believe in you can be a powerful source of strength when you're feeling low. Another critical element of overcoming life's challenges is the ability to stay focused on what you can control. It's easy to get bogged down by all the things outside your control, the people who let you down, the obstacles that seem insurmountable, the things that just aren't going your way. But here's the truth, you can't control everything. The only thing you can control is your response. You can control how you choose to react to adversity. You can control how you view your situation, and you can control the actions you take moving forward. This is where your mental strength comes into play. It's about learning to let go of what's outside your control and focusing on what you can influence. This doesn't mean you ignore the challenges you're facing, but it does mean you approach them with a clear mind and a focused heart. You take responsibility for your own actions and decisions. You make the conscious choice to keep moving forward, one step at a time, even when it feels hard. One of the most important things to remember when facing challenges is that they are not permanent. Nothing lasts forever. No matter how bad things seem in the moment, they will eventually pass. This doesn't mean that the road ahead will be easy or that everything will magically get better, but it does mean that you're not stuck. Every challenge, every setback, every tough moment is just one chapter in your story. And when you face them with the right attitude, when you approach them with resilience, they will become stepping stones toward the next phase of your journey. When you encounter a setback or a challenge, it's easy to feel discouraged, to question whether or not you're on the right path. But remember, success is never linear. It's not a straight line from where you are now to where you want to be. Success is about taking those setbacks and turning them into comebacks. It's about recognizing that the struggles you face today are the things that will make your victory tomorrow even sweeter. It's about seeing challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, to develop new skills and strategies, and to gain wisdom that will serve you in the future. Think about it this way, if you never faced any challenges, you would never know your true strength. You would never learn what you're capable of. It's through facing challenges that we discover just how resilient we are. It's in those moments of difficulty that we build the mental toughness that carries us through life. So instead of wishing for an easy life, embrace the challenges that come your way. Recognize that they're shaping you, building you and preparing you for the future you're meant to create. It's also worth remembering that success isn't about avoiding failure. In fact, failure is often the best teacher you'll ever have. When things go wrong, it's not the end of the world. It's an opportunity to learn, to adjust and to try again. The key to overcoming life's challenges is to keep going, even when things don't go as planned. It's about picking yourself up, dusting yourself off, and using what you've learned to keep moving forward. In the end, facing life's challenges is about mindset. It's about deciding, in each moment, that you are stronger than your struggles. It's about choosing to see challenges as opportunities, to view failure as a lesson, and to understand that every difficulty is temporary. The more you face your challenges head-on, the more resilient you become, and the closer you get to the life you want to build. Life may not always be easy, but you have the power to face whatever comes your way. The key is to never give up, to always keep moving forward, and to trust that you have everything it takes to overcome life's challenges and emerge victorious. Chapter 16. Emotional Regulation Techniques. Emotions are a part of being human. They're powerful forces that can shape our experiences, influence our decisions, and impact how we interact with the world around us. But here's something you may not always realize. While you can't control the emotions you feel, you can control how you respond to them. That's where emotional regulation comes in. Emotional regulation isn't about suppressing or ignoring your feelings. It's not about pretending everything's fine when it's not. In fact, trying to bottle up emotions can lead to bigger problems down the road. Emotional regulation is about recognizing your emotions, understanding where they're coming from, and choosing how to react in a way that serves your well-being and goals. It's about taking control of how you respond to your feelings, rather than letting them take control of you. Let's start with the basics. The first step in emotional regulation is awareness. You can't manage your emotions if you don't know what they are or where they're coming from. So the first thing you need to do is become aware of your emotions. That means tuning into your feelings and recognizing when you're experiencing a strong emotional reaction, whether that's anger, sadness, frustration, or joy. Many people go through life on autopilot, reacting to situations without stopping to think about how they feel. This often leads to emotional outbursts, regret, or poor decisions. But when you take a moment to check in with yourself and ask, "What am I feeling right now?" you create space for self-awareness. It's like stepping back from the situation and taking a deep breath before reacting. When you can identify your emotions, you gain the ability to choose how to respond, rather than simply reacting in the heat of the moment. The next part of emotional regulation is understanding the cause of your emotions. Emotions are often triggered by external events, something someone said, a situation you're facing, or even just a thought that popped into your mind. But emotions can also be influenced by your internal beliefs and past experiences. Sometimes, a feeling of anger or frustration might be linked to an old wound or a past experience that hasn't fully healed. In these cases, it's important to understand that your emotional response might not always be about the present moment, but about something deeper. Once you've identified your emotions and understood where they're coming from, the next step is to pause. This is where the magic happens. It's so easy to let emotions take over and make impulsive decisions. You get angry and lash out. You feel anxious and avoid the situation altogether. But if you can train yourself to pause, to take a step back before reacting, you give yourself the opportunity to choose your response. In those moments of emotional intensity, try asking yourself a few key questions. What is this emotion telling me? What is the best response in this situation? How do I want to feel after this moment passes? These questions can help you gain perspective and distance from your emotions, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Another powerful technique for emotional regulation is breathing. Deep, slow breaths can help calm your nervous system and bring you back to a state of balance. When emotions are running high, your body often goes into fight or flight mode, triggering a physical response like increased heart rate, shallow breathing, and tension. By focusing on your breath, you can help counteract this physical response and return to a calmer state. Try this simple technique next time you're feeling overwhelmed. Inhale deeply for a count of 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 4. Repeat a few times, and you'll notice the tension start to melt away. In addition to breathing, there are other strategies you can use to regulate your emotions. One of the most effective is reframing. Reframing is the practice of changing the way you look at a situation. For example, let's say you get an email that frustrates you. Instead of getting upset, try to reframe the situation. Ask yourself, what's the other side of this? What could I learn from this experience? Reframing helps you shift your perspective and view the situation in a more constructive way. Rather than reacting with anger or frustration, you approach the situation with a sense of curiosity and openness. Another powerful technique is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment without judgment. It's about observing your thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations without getting caught up in them. When you practice mindfulness, you become more aware of your emotional reactions and are better able to manage them. Mindfulness allows you to pause, take a step back, and observe your emotions rather than getting swept away by them. You can practice mindfulness through meditation, but it's also something you can incorporate into everyday life. Whether you're eating, walking, or having a conversation, being present in the moment can help you regulate your emotions and stay grounded. One of the most important aspects of emotional regulation is self-compassion. When you're feeling overwhelmed by your emotions, it's easy to be hard on yourself. You might think, "Why am I feeling like this? I should have it all together by now," but beating yourself up for your emotions only makes things worse. Instead, practice self-compassion. Recognize that you're human, that it's okay to feel what you're feeling, and that your emotions are valid. Be kind to yourself, especially when you're going through tough times. Treat yourself with the same care and understanding that you would show to a friend. It's also important to remember that emotional regulation is a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. You won't become a master at it overnight, but every time you practice awareness, pause before reacting, and choose a response that serves you, you're building your emotional intelligence. And over time, you'll get better at managing your emotions, navigating difficult situations, and maintaining your mental balance, even when life gets tough. One final point: emotional regulation doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring your feelings. It doesn't mean pretending you're okay when you're not. It's about creating space between what you feel and how you respond. It's about choosing responses that align with your values, goals, and the person you want to be. Emotional regulation allows you to experience your emotions fully without letting them take control of you. It's about being in the driver's seat of your own emotional world, so you can make decisions and take actions that move you closer to the life you want to create. Emotions are powerful, but you have the power to manage them. By practicing emotional regulation, you'll not only improve your ability to cope with difficult situations, but you'll also become more resilient, more mindful, and more in control of your life. So the next time you find yourself caught in an emotional storm, remember you are not your emotions. You are the person who chooses how to respond to them. And with practice, you'll learn to navigate your emotions with ease, grace, and strength. Chapter 17: The Role of Humor and Positivity. Life can be tough. No one is immune to struggles, challenges, or the moments that make you want to just throw in the towel. We all have our low points. But here's something that can help you through the hardest days: humor and positivity. They're not just about putting on a happy face or pretending everything is fine when it's not. They're about finding light in the darkness, lifting your spirits when you're down, and using humor as a tool for resilience. Humor is one of the most powerful coping mechanisms we have. It doesn't just make us feel good in the moment, it can actually help us deal with stress, improve our relationships, and even make us more resilient in the face of adversity. It's easy to think of humor as something frivolous, but it's much more than that. It's a vital part of emotional regulation. When you can laugh at yourself, laugh at the absurdity of life, or simply find humor in difficult situations, you begin to shift your perspective. What once seemed like a mountain to climb may suddenly feel like a hill you can tackle. Think about it. When was the last time you laughed so hard that you forgot about your worries, even for just a moment? That's the power of humor. It creates space for joy, for lightness, and for relief from the weight of life's difficulties. Humor has the ability to shift your focus, to take you out of the stress of the moment, and provide a sense of release. It's like taking a deep breath for your soul. And when you can make humor a regular part of your life, you're more equipped to handle whatever challenges come your way. But humor isn't just about finding something to laugh about in the moment. It's about how you approach life. People who have a sense of humor tend to be more adaptable. They can laugh at their mistakes, laugh through their failures, and laugh when things don't go as planned. They understand that life is unpredictable, and they don't take themselves too seriously. This ability to laugh at the ups and downs of life helps them maintain a sense of balance and perspective, even in the most challenging times. Now, let's talk about positivity. Positivity is often misunderstood. It's not about being unrealistic or pretending that everything is perfect when it's not. Positivity is about choosing to focus on the good, even when things aren't going your way. It's about looking for the silver lining, the lesson, the opportunity, or the blessing, even in the middle of a storm. It's not about denying the hard things. It's about finding the strength to look beyond them and keep moving forward. Positivity doesn't mean you have to force yourself to be happy all the time, or pretend you don't feel sad, frustrated, or angry. It's about making a conscious decision to focus on the things that uplift you, that help you grow, and that remind you of your strength. It's about reframing challenges as opportunities for growth and learning. It's about choosing to see obstacles as temporary setbacks rather than permanent roadblocks. And most importantly, it's about cultivating an inner belief that no matter what life throws your way, you have the power to overcome it. One of the most important aspects of positivity is the ability to control your inner dialogue. The way you talk to yourself has a profound impact on how you feel. If you constantly tell yourself that things are never going to get better, that you're not good enough, or that you can't handle what's coming, that's what you'll believe. But if you can shift your inner dialogue to one of encouragement, support, and optimism, you'll start to believe in your ability to handle life's challenges. Here's an example. Let's say you're facing a tough project at work. Instead of telling yourself, "This is going to be impossible," or "I'll never get this done," try rephrasing it to something like, "This is a challenge, but I can handle it," or "I've faced tough situations before, and I got through them, so I'll get through this one too." This subtle shift in language helps you stay positive and motivated, even when things seem difficult. The same principle applies to how you view setbacks or mistakes. When things don't go as planned, it's easy to fall into negative thinking, to beat yourself up, or to feel like you've failed. But with positivity, you can see setbacks as learning experiences. You can view mistakes as opportunities to grow, to adjust, and to try again with more knowledge and understanding. Instead of saying, "I messed up," you can say, "I learned something valuable today." This shift in mindset is a powerful tool for maintaining a positive outlook, even when things don't go perfectly. Positivity is also about gratitude. When life feels overwhelming, it can be easy to focus on everything that's going wrong. But gratitude helps you shift your focus to what's going right. It helps you appreciate the small wins, the little joys, and the things you might otherwise take for granted. When you practice gratitude, you start to see the abundance in your life, even during the toughest times. It reminds you that no matter how hard things get, there is always something to be thankful for. Humor and positivity go hand in hand. They both help you navigate life's challenges with grace, resilience, and a sense of joy. Humor helps you find the lighter side of life, while positivity helps you focus on the good, even when things are tough. Together they create a powerful combination that can lift you up, keep you grounded, and help you maintain perspective during difficult times. One of the most powerful ways to bring humor and positivity into your life is by surrounding yourself with people who uplift you. The people you spend time with have a huge influence on your mindset and outlook. If you surround yourself with negative, pessimistic people, it will be much harder to maintain a positive attitude. But when you surround yourself with people who make you laugh, who see the good in life, and who support you through the tough times, you're more likely to cultivate that same mindset for yourself. Another important aspect of humor and positivity is self-compassion. When life gets hard, it's easy to be hard on yourself. You may feel like you're not doing enough, or that you should be handling things better, but humor and positivity can help you be kinder to yourself. You can laugh at your mistakes instead of beating yourself up over them. You can give yourself permission to not be perfect, knowing that you're doing your best. And you can be grateful for the progress you've made, rather than focusing on what you haven't yet achieved. In the end, humor and positivity are powerful tools for building mental strength. They help you face life's challenges with resilience, joy, and a sense of perspective. They remind you that even in the toughest times, you have the power to choose your attitude, to find humor in the situation, and to keep moving forward with optimism. So the next time life feels heavy, take a step back, find something to laugh about, and remind yourself that you are stronger than you think. You've got this. Chapter 18. Reflecting on your journey. We're all on a journey. Some days it feels like we're making huge strides, and other days it seems like we're stuck in place. But no matter where you are, it's important to take a moment to reflect on how far you've come. Reflection isn't about dwelling on the past or beating yourself up over mistakes. It's about looking back, acknowledging your growth, and appreciating everything you've learned along the way. It's a vital part of the process of becoming mentally strong, because reflection helps you understand where you've been, where you are, and where you're going. Often we get so caught up in the hustle of life, in pushing forward toward our goals, that we forget to pause and take stock of everything we've achieved. We're so focused on what's next, what we still need to do, that we overlook how much we've already done. Reflection gives us the opportunity to slow down and appreciate our progress. It's like taking a snapshot of your life in the present moment, so you can see just how far you've come. Think about it. How often do you celebrate your own wins? Not just the big victories, but the small steps forward. Maybe it's the time you pushed through a tough workout, or the day you finally faced your fears. Maybe it's the time you chose not to give up, even when you felt like you couldn't go on. Reflection allows you to recognize and celebrate these moments of growth, because they're the building blocks of your mental strength. One of the most powerful tools for reflection is journaling. Journaling gives you a space to write down your thoughts, your feelings, and your experiences. It's a way to process what's happened, to make sense of your emotions, and to track your progress. When you journal, you can ask yourself questions like, what am I proud of today? Or what did I learn from my challenges? Writing these things down not only helps you reflect, but it also reinforces the positive habits and lessons you've learned along the way. Reflection doesn't just help you appreciate the progress you've made, it also helps you identify areas where you can grow. When you reflect on a situation, it gives you the chance to think about what worked and what didn't. You can ask yourself, what could I have done differently, or what would I do next time? This kind of honest self-assessment allows you to learn from your mistakes without being critical of yourself. You can take the lessons from your experiences and use them to improve. Reflection is a way to make sure you're always learning, always evolving, and always moving forward. Another key part of reflection is acknowledging the hard times you've faced. It's easy to look back and only see the good things, the successes, the achievements, the progress. But the hard times are just as important. They're the moments that tested your strength, that pushed you to your limits, and that taught you the most valuable lessons. Reflecting on these moments doesn't mean wallowing in them or letting them hold you back. It means acknowledging that they happened, recognizing the strength you showed in getting through them, and appreciating the wisdom you gained from them. One of the most valuable lessons reflection can teach you is how to see the bigger picture. Sometimes we get so caught up in the details of our lives, the small setbacks, the little disappointments, that we forget to look at the overall progress we've made. When you reflect on your journey, you can see how far you've come. You realize that the small steps you took every day, even when they felt insignificant, have added up to something bigger than you might have imagined. Reflection allows you to step back and see your growth from a broader perspective. A great way to reflect on your journey is to create a timeline of your life. Start by marking the big moments, the successes, the failures, the turning points, and then fill in the smaller moments in between. This visual representation of your life helps you see how everything fits together, how the pieces of your story have come together to create the person you are today. It's a powerful reminder of how much you've achieved and how much you've grown. As you reflect, don't forget to recognize the people who have been part of your journey, the people who have supported you, challenged you, and believed in you, whether it's your family, friends, mentors, or even strangers who made a difference. Reflecting on these relationships helps you appreciate the connections that have shaped you and gives you a sense of gratitude for the support you've received. In addition to looking back, reflection is also an opportunity to think about where you're going. It's easy to get so focused on the present moment that we forget to look ahead. But reflection allows you to assess your current path and make sure you're aligned with your values, goals, and vision for the future. You can ask yourself questions like, am I on the right track? Or what do I want to accomplish next? This kind of reflection helps you course correct if necessary and make sure you're moving in the direction that's best for you. Of course, as you reflect on your journey, it's important to remember that it's okay if you haven't reached all your goals yet. Growth isn't always linear, and success doesn't happen overnight. But every step you take, every challenge you face, and every lesson you learn brings you closer to becoming the person you want to be. Reflection helps you acknowledge that progress, even if it's slow, and reinforces the idea that every step forward is worth celebrating. Another powerful tool for reflection is creating a vision board or a gratitude journal. A vision board is a visual representation of your goals and dreams. It's a collage of images, words, and quotes that inspire you and remind you of where you're headed. Looking at your vision board can help you reflect on your dreams and reignite your motivation. A gratitude journal, on the other hand, is a daily practice of writing down the things you're grateful for. This practice helps you reflect on the positive aspects of your life, no matter what challenges you're facing. At the end of the day, reflection is about making sure you don't lose sight of your progress. It's about giving yourself credit for the hard work you've put in and recognizing the strength you've built along the way. So, as you continue on your journey, take time to reflect, celebrate your wins, learn from your mistakes, and appreciate the person you've become. Remember, the journey is just as important as the destination, and every step you take is a step toward the person you're meant to be. Reflection isn't just a one-time activity, it's something you can make a regular part of your life. Whether it's through journaling, meditation, or simply taking a few minutes each day to check in with yourself, reflection helps you stay grounded and connected to your purpose. It's a tool for growth, for learning, and for creating the life you want to live. So take a moment, pause, and reflect on your journey. You'll be amazed at how much you've accomplished and how much more you're capable of. Chapter 19. Sustaining mental strength. It's one thing to build mental strength, it's another to keep it. The road to becoming mentally strong doesn't have a finish line. It's not about hitting a certain point and saying, "I've made it." It's about committing to a mindset, habits, and practices that keep you grounded, focused, and resilient over the long haul. Mental strength is not a static achievement, but a lifelong process. And just like building strength in your body, it requires ongoing work, consistency, and a mindset shift to ensure that you can continue to thrive, no matter what life throws your way. Sustaining mental strength begins with recognizing that mental health, like physical health, requires regular attention and care. Just as you wouldn't expect to run a marathon without months of training, you can't expect to handle life's challenges without preparing your mind. But the good news is, the more you train your mind, the easier it becomes to handle stress, adversity, and the inevitable bumps along the way. One of the first steps in sustaining mental strength is to develop a routine. A solid daily routine is the backbone of mental fortitude. It gives you a sense of control, structure, and predictability, which is key when life feels chaotic. Whether it's a morning routine that starts with meditation, a workout, or reading something inspiring, or an evening routine that includes journaling and gratitude, the small practices you incorporate into your day have a powerful impact on your mindset. They set the tone for how you approach each day, and over time, these consistent actions will build the mental resilience you need to handle life's challenges. Part of sustaining mental strength is also about maintaining a sense of purpose. When you know why you do what you do, when you understand your deeper motivations, you're much more likely to push through difficult times. Purpose fuels passion, and passion fuels perseverance. It's the driving force that helps you stay grounded when things get tough. And it can come from many places: your career, your relationships, your personal goals, or even your desire to make a difference in the world. When you connect your daily actions to your larger vision for your life, you create a sense of meaning that helps you navigate setbacks with determination. Another essential aspect of sustaining mental strength is maintaining flexibility. Life is unpredictable, and no matter how strong or prepared you are, there will be moments that throw you off course. The ability to adapt, adjust, and bounce back is one of the most important qualities of mental resilience. It's not about avoiding change or challenges, it's about how you respond to them. Flexibility allows you to roll with the punches, take things in stride, and continue moving forward without losing sight of your goals. Instead of seeing obstacles as setbacks, you begin to view them as opportunities to learn, grow, and adjust your path. One practice that can help you stay flexible is mindfulness. Being mindful means staying present, paying attention to your thoughts and emotions without judgment. It allows you to be aware of how you're feeling in the moment, which is crucial for maintaining mental strength. If you're feeling stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, mindfulness helps you catch those emotions early before they spiral out of control. It also teaches you to be non-reactive, to take a pause, and to choose how to respond. The more you practice mindfulness, the more you build your mental resilience, because you're better able to handle the ups and downs of life without being thrown off course. Self-compassion is another cornerstone of sustaining mental strength. You might think of self-compassion as being soft on yourself or letting yourself off the hook, but that's not it at all. In fact, self-compassion is one of the most powerful tools for resilience. It's about recognizing that you're human, that you will make mistakes, and that it's okay to not have everything figured out. Self-compassion means treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a close friend. When you give yourself permission to be imperfect, you give yourself the space to grow, learn, and evolve without the pressure of needing to be flawless. It's that balance of pushing yourself to be better while also being kind to yourself when you fall short. Another important element of sustaining mental strength is staying connected to your support network. No one does this alone. Life can be isolating at times, and there will be moments when you feel like you're facing everything on your own, but you don't have to. The people around you, the ones who love you, support you, and have your back, are crucial to your mental resilience. They remind you of your strength, help you stay grounded when you lose sight of your goals, and offer perspective when you feel overwhelmed. Strength doesn't mean shutting yourself off from others. It means leaning on them when you need to, knowing that you don't have to face everything by yourself. Nurturing those relationships and staying connected is a key part of sustaining mental strength. This might mean spending more quality time with loved ones, reaching out when you're feeling down, or building a community of people who uplift and encourage you. Surrounding yourself with supportive, positive people will help you stay on track, even when life gets difficult. It's also important to keep challenging yourself. Mental strength isn't about staying comfortable or avoiding difficulties. It's about continually growing, pushing past your limits, and embracing discomfort. When you challenge yourself, you expand your capacity to handle whatever comes your way. The more you test your limits, the stronger you become. This doesn't mean you should put yourself in harm's way, but it does mean taking on challenges that stretch you, whether that's in your career, relationships, personal development, or physical health. Embrace discomfort because it's the fertile ground where growth happens. Another key to sustaining mental strength is maintaining balance. It's easy to get consumed by one area of your life, work, relationships, health, and forget about the others. But true mental strength comes from creating a balance between all aspects of your life. If you're spending all your time working and none on self-care, or if you're focused entirely on fitness and neglecting your emotional health, it can lead to burnout and imbalance. Make sure you're taking care of your mind, body, and soul in a holistic way so that you don't burn out and lose sight of what really matters. Lastly, keep learning. Growth isn't just about pushing through the hard moments. It's about continuing to evolve, adapt, and expand your knowledge and skills. Lifelong learning is a key part of sustaining mental strength. Whether it's reading books, attending seminars, or learning from your experiences, continuing to challenge your mind helps you stay sharp, resilient, and open to new possibilities. When you're learning and growing, you're less likely to feel stuck or stagnant. You're building a reservoir of knowledge and experience that helps you face any challenge with confidence. Sustaining mental strength is an ongoing process that requires commitment, consistency, and self-awareness. It's about creating a life that supports your mental health, nurturing your relationships, staying flexible, and continuing to learn and grow. It's not about reaching a point where you're done, but about continuously evolving and adapting to life's challenges. Remember, you have the power to build your mental strength, and you also have the power to sustain it for the long haul. Take it one day at a time, stay committed, and know that each step you take strengthens you for whatever lies ahead. Chapter 20: Inspiring others with your journey. Your story matters. The journey you've been on, the struggles you've faced, the triumphs you've celebrated, they all have the power to inspire others. You might not see it now, but the way you've grown and transformed can be a beacon of hope for someone else. When you share your experiences, when you show others that it's possible to overcome obstacles, find strength in adversity, and live a life full of purpose, you create a ripple effect. The lessons you've learned, the wisdom you've gained, the resilience you've built, it's all valuable, and it can help light the way for someone else who's on their own journey. In the process of becoming mentally strong, you've undoubtedly faced challenges that pushed you to the limit. Maybe you've battled self-doubt, fought through fears, or overcome failures. Every one of those moments is a piece of your story, a chapter in your life that someone else can relate to. When you share your struggles, you connect with people in a deeply authentic way. It's easy to look at someone who seems like they have it all together and assume that their journey was smooth, but that's rarely the case. Most of us have faced hard times, and those hard times are what shape us into who we are. By sharing your journey, you're not just offering your successes and accomplishments. You're showing people that the hard times don't define you, they refine you. You're teaching them that no matter what they're going through, they too can emerge stronger on the other side. You don't have to have everything figured out to be a source of inspiration. You just have to be willing to share what you've learned along the way, to show that even when things seemed impossible, you kept moving forward. One of the most powerful ways to inspire others is through vulnerability. It's not always easy to be open about our struggles, but when you share the raw, unfiltered truth of your journey, you give others permission to do the same. Vulnerability builds trust, and trust creates connection. People can't relate to perfection, but they can relate to the very human experience of facing difficulties and growing from them. When you show that you're human, just like everyone else, you become more relatable and approachable. And that's where true inspiration comes from, not in the polished version of your life, but in the messy, real, and imperfect story that others can see themselves in. Inspiring others isn't just about telling them what to do or offering advice. It's about leading by example. When you show up every day, even when you don't feel like it, when you push through fear, when you choose resilience over surrender, you're demonstrating what mental strength looks like in action. Your actions speak louder than your words, and the way you live your life can be the greatest inspiration to those around you. Sometimes, people won't need you to say anything. They'll simply need to see you live with courage, authenticity, and determination. That's the kind of inspiration that leaves a lasting impact. The ripple effect of your journey doesn't end with just one person. As you continue to share your story, it encourages others to share theirs. It creates a chain reaction of growth, vulnerability, and strength. When one person opens up about their challenges, it inspires others to do the same, and before you know it, a community of support, encouragement, and resilience is formed. By being open and honest about your experiences, you're contributing to a culture of growth and empowerment. Your story has the power to change lives, not because of how remarkable you are, but because of the way you faced adversity and emerged stronger. People need to hear that change is possible, that growth is possible, and that mental strength can be built. Your experiences give them hope and the belief that they too can overcome whatever they're facing. There's something incredibly powerful in knowing that someone has walked the path you're on, and if they can make it through, then so can you. In addition to sharing your personal experiences, another way to inspire others is by helping them see their own potential. Sometimes, people need someone to believe in them before they can believe in themselves. You might be the person who can help them see that they're capable of more than they think. Encouraging others, offering a kind word, or simply being there to listen can help someone else recognize their own strength and resilience. You don't always have to have all the answers. Sometimes just showing up and offering a little encouragement is all it takes to inspire someone to keep going. Mentorship is another powerful way to inspire others. When you take someone under your wing, share your knowledge, and guide them on their journey, you're passing the torch of strength and resilience. Mentorship isn't about having all the answers. It's about offering support, wisdom, and encouragement. It's about showing someone that they're not alone, that their dreams are possible, and that they can make it through the tough times. By guiding others, you're not just helping them, you're reinforcing your own mental strength and further developing your own leadership skills. The more you give, the more you receive, and the stronger your own resilience becomes. Sometimes, the most profound impact comes from small, everyday interactions. It could be a conversation with a friend who's struggling, a post on social media that resonates with someone, or a moment where you simply offer a helping hand. These small moments of connection create an environment of support and encouragement that can spread far beyond what you can see. It's the little things you do, the way you show up for others, that can have the biggest impact. You don't have to change the world to make a difference. You just have to be present and willing to share your journey. As you continue on your path, remember that your journey isn't just yours anymore. It's part of something bigger. Every lesson you've learned, every challenge you've overcome, And every victory you've celebrated is a stepping stone for someone else. Your story is a source of hope, inspiration and possibility for those who may not yet see the light at the end of the tunnel. By sharing your experiences, by leading by example, and by being a source of support for others, you help create a ripple effect of mental strength that extends far beyond yourself. The power of mental strength isn't just about personal growth. It's about the impact you can have on others. It's about using your journey to lift others up, to inspire them, and to show them that no matter how tough life gets, it's possible to keep going. Your story is a gift to the world, and by sharing it, you can make a difference.